Good evening. Happy Thursday. Welcome to your Thursday evening stroll around your celestial neighborhood. I'm Irene Peace, your friendly neighborhood astronomer, coming to you from a non-disclosed location north of New York City. So tonight should be a fun thing. The plan for tonight is Mars because I haven't been there in a while and it's kind of fun. And I'm just kind of feeling like I need that space right now. So that's where we're going to go. The Mars. So we're all set up. We're going to be using visuals from OpenSpace, which you see in the background now. You can find and download those for free at openspaceproject.com. And we're also going to use a little bit of Stellarium tonight. You can find Stellarium at stellarium.org. Put it on all the fun devices because it's fun. So yeah, Mars. Here we are at the Mars already. And really what I wanted to do is just poke around Mars because, like I said, it's been a while. Like Mars was all the rage, earlier in the year when it's like there was stuff landing there and, sending back new data. And honestly, I haven't followed a whole lot of that since then. And so I was just excited to go back to Mars and just like poke around Mars like I used to when I had all kinds of spare time because I'm basically not going to have spare time moving forward and I'm not going to be doing these for at least a month. So, Mars. What do we notice about Mars? Just a couple things. There is at least one destination I want to check out, but I want to talk a bit about its moons because it has two nifty moons. For more about those, you could check out the Moontopia series. But yeah, we see, hopefully you can see some lines in the background. So these represent the plane of the solar system. That's the ecliptic. So those are the orbits of the other planets that you can see from the Mars. And you notice that Mars's moons, oopsies, keep doing that. Mars's moons are a little bit tilted, like the orbits of the moons that you're seeing here in red. So I'm hoping that the red shows up a bit. But we see those going around Mars and they're tilted a little bit. And actually, if I try to do a thing, and hopefully not everything will break if I do, if I try to go through time, one of the fun things in open space is the time control. So like time lordy, right? So we see Mars rotating on its axis, right? So we see it spinning. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So it's spinning. And we can see, yeah, that it's basically spinning. This is um, the basically perpendicular to its axis of rotation. And so we see it's tilted relative to the ecliptic, right? So the Earth is tilted about 23.5 degrees relative to the ecliptic, and Mars is tilted about 25 degrees. So it has a similar tilt to the Earth. So that's really fun. So we can check that out. Thanks, Faisal, for that comment. But yeah, so the moons though, I do actually want to kind of check those out. Trying to pause time here a little bit. Pausing the time. Um, yeah, I kind of want to see, well, there's one spot I just want to visit on Mars just because I can. But first, yeah, taking a look at the Martian night sky. So to do that, that's actually a fun thing that you can do with Stellarium. So here's the Stellarium. And I don't know if you can tell, yeah, because I blocked it out. But if I bring this up a little bit, you can see that we are actually on Mars. So we're kind of in the northern hemisphere of Mars. I tried to get as close to the crater that I wanted to check out later. But yeah, as we scroll through time, or actually if we go back in time a little bit, we can see a nice Marsy surface. And if we move forward in time, it's kind of interesting. I wanted to see a different effect, but it's not doing it. So we'll use the open space for this. But we can actually see, yeah, oh, look, there's Deimos in the twinkling evening sky. So if we actually watch Demos for a couple minutes, um, we can see the stars drifting, and Demos is setting very slowly. Yeah. So Deimos is the further out moon. Oh, look, and here comes Phobos. So this is a kind of a fun thing um, with Mars. So the two moons, we have Deimos and Phobos. You can probably guess which one is closer just by the way they're moving. Notice that it's not getting super dark. I think that's because we're so far north and it's like we're above the we're above the Arctic Circle, or what would be the Arctic Circle. That's okay. So yeah, I see that Phobos is moving a lot quicker. That's an indicator that it's closer to Mars, and in fact, Phobos is also larger. So larger and closer and brighter. So it's going to be one of the brighter things in the night sky of Mars, brighter than the stars. And it does rise in the west, as we just saw, and it sets in the east because Phobos is going around Mars faster than it spins. So Phobos goes around Mars in, is it like 4 hours, give or take? And Mars does not spin around in less than 4 hours. It takes about 24 hours and change. It's a little bit longer than an Earth day for Mars to spin around once on its axis. So Phobos is going around faster than Mars spins. So we would see it rise in the west and set in the east. Deimos takes just a little bit longer. So Deimos takes a little over 30 hours. So it is still going to rise in the east and set in the west. Um, that's our handy dandy little Demos. So I guess that was actually sun. Oh, sunrise, sunset, and we're so far north that yeah, we're just the sun is just kind of the skimming the horizon. So this happens on Earth too, near one of the solstices. If it's a northern summer solstice, you'd also have this eerie twilight, and it would never really get dark. But every single night, because they're going around so quickly, every single night without fail, you'll see both moons at some point. So that's kind of a fun thing. So for those of you planning to move to Mars, you can keep an eye out for the Phobos moving west to east through the sky as it gets closer and closer to the planet. Hopefully getting, well, not hopefully, but eventually we expect it to get kind of stripped apart. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. Tidal forces, y'alls. All right. So yeah, kind of a fun thing. Yeah, you can also see the other planets in the sky. Let's just move a little bit further south. Not that one. See, we're really far north. We'll move a little bit further south. Oh, there we go. So it'll actually get dark in our Martian sky. Um, so again, other planets you might see in the sky if you were on Mars. Venus, still quite bright. Jupiter and Saturn, Mercury. And you should also be able to see Earth at some point if Earth isn't too close to the sun. If we just go ahead and turn off the Martian atmosphere, like we sometimes do here on Earth, we can kind of poke up and see, yep, there's Earth. There's Earth in our morning sky. So this week, the planets are all kind of lined up there. Mercury, I saw Mercury just a little bit ago. Venus, yeah, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn all lined up. So this is a great time to be on Mars. A really great view of your morning planets. Earth and Mercury probably getting just a little bit lost in the glow of the atmosphere. One bonus on Mars, you don't have big funky buildings blocking your view, so you don't have to worry so much about the horizon. Although there are some big mountains and some really, really grand canyons. Yes, so no trees, but yes, Roche limit and rings. So potentially Phobos could become a ring at some point, as Faisal is noting. Um, But yeah, that's something to look forward to for all you people who are planning to move to Mars at some point. Um, so the other things that I just kind of wanted to poke around with for Mars or take requests. If you have a request, just throw it in the chat. I got really curious about just the moons of Mars this week. And, considering that, they're both going around so quickly and Phobos much quicker than Deimos, it seems like, they should meet up on a somewhat regular basis. So, yeah, that's a thing. Um, so I'm just gonna, skip to this. So this, oopsies, is a time when they could be lined up as seen from the surface of Mars. And I just want to try to maybe land so that we can see that. So here's the trick. We're going to stop that. And we're going to zoom in to the Mars. And you can guess exactly how much time I spent practicing this when I was commuting to my new job all week long. Yep, that's about right. So if we turn around, and I'm going to try to get really close to Mars, basically try to land on Mars. So yeah, this is basically from the surface of Mars. We would be able to see the moons kind of aligning. And so if we're looking at these now, remember the brighter one, that's Phobos, right? And so that should be moving this way across our sky, and Deimos is going to be moving very, very slowly the other way across the sky. So if I play time just a little bit, I'm just going to zip through seconds, minutes. Did I do that backwards? I feel like I did that backwards. Oh, I got that backwards. I must be turned around. I'm sorry. All right, so we'll go back an hour. Whoa. Um, oh, I know why. Wait, I think I know why. All right. So as you can tell, I didn't practice this. But regardless, you can see that they do get aligned. All right. So they'll line up. And of course, their orbits crisscross. So every now and then there should actually be like an eclipse, right? So they're not in exactly the same plane, right? So they're not gonna like eclipse each other every day, but there should be, if I move out and around, we should see their orbits should crisscross now and then, right? So they do cross. And so if we have a conjunction at one of these points when they're at those relative points in their orbits, then we would get some nice little eclipses. So Martian lunar eclipses. And Faisal's accusing me of having all the time in the world to learn to be a Time Lord. That's right. All the time in the universe, from Big Bang until forever. Sorry. Next time. But yeah, so if you have open space or even Stellarium, or both, I encourage you to check those out because really that's what I'd like to be able to do is like run through a few Martian eclipses and really find out just how often they occur. Because I have a feeling it's not too infrequent. But yeah, the other thing I just wanted to visit because I haven't been there in a while, and I think I may have gone in a previous stream, but I just wanted to poke up around by Korolev crater because it's like one of the craters that I know. It's the white spot at the top. So Korolev, you might recognize if you watched the Mission of the Month a few months back for Sputnik. I think I did a Sputnik thing. So he was one of the driving forces behind that whole phase of Russia at the time, Soviet at the time, um, rocketry and whatnot. So he's a crater named after him on Mars. And it's like really far north. Faisal was saying something about dry ice. Yeah, snowboarding. So this could be a good place to go snowboarding year round. So even in the summertime, right? So right now it's summer in the northern hemisphere, and yet Korolev Crater is chock full of some kind of ice, possibly dry, possibly water. So either frozen carbon dioxide or actual water, H2O ice. And I didn't load in the fancy images of this, but I just wanted to point it out because it is pretty cool. I'm just gonna check real quick. I don't think I have um, my maps of this, um, but let's see. I have layers, color layers. We'll turn those on. See if we have any high rise up here. So this isn't actually the extended, the special Mars version of open space. So there's a special um, Mars uh, profile that has lots and lots of high rise maps of Mars. Um, because it's a lot of data to load in. So high rise is very high resolution. It's taken by the high rise camera from, I believe, MRO, um, as opposed to some of the lower res images that are taken by other cameras. But it's like 30 centimeter resolution. And we have Atlanta, Georgia in the house, which is kind of exciting because that's where I was born. Hey, Atlanta. Um, yeah, so Korolev crater, pretty cool. Looks like I don't have high resolution, but let's just poke around because it's fun and we can check out another crater that's up there. Don't ask me which one because I don't have it labeled and I don't have it in my notes. This is literally just live flying. Very live, very crude, but again, something I encourage you to try if you have a computer that can support open space. And apparently, they're making better and better computer these days. So it's more and more likely that you have one that can support open space. Um, so something we see in bits of Mars, kind of similar to what we see on the moon, I guess, would just be like the craters within craters. So even though this is like some huge crater, there's still like these other cratering features inside of it. Um, so up close and personal, Mars has, well, a lot of personality. There's dunes, there's bits of mountains, there's little crevices and rills and deltas, and of course there's the huge crack and the big extinct volcanoes. But there's other just like beautiful little bits like this that are really fun to kind of tinker around with and explore. And again, with the high rise data, we get not only high resolution color images, but also these height maps that should allow us, as it's loading in, to kind of fly down into these craters, which is one of my favorite things to do on Mars, is to fly down into a crater. Just frankly, because we can. So it doesn't look like too deep of a crater. Maybe my height map just isn't loading in yet. I think my height map just isn't loaded in yet. But kind of a neat little crater that has little dunes. Um, there are some really cute buttes in the northeastern part of the Valles Marinera. Capri Chasma has some really cute buttes where there's like different types of rocks that are like sticking out and haven't weathered away. Um, and so lots of features, like if you like geology, Mars is pretty cool to explore. If you're a professional geologist, maybe like you're just, really interested in looking at the earth most of the time. But if you're kind of an amateur geologist and just like looking at rocks and formations, there's a lot of cool formations that you can recognize on Mars because it has a lot of the same processes, having an atmosphere and having seasons and having ancient running water, not today, but definitely liquid water on the surface in the past. Um, the other thing that I just want to point out with Mars is the gorgeous sunsets and sunrises. So I'm just going to spin around, and this may not be the most gorgeous view of the horizon on Mars that I've ever shown, but it's a view of the horizon on Mars that I'm showing now in this TBD crater. But if we move through time a little bit, here comes the sun. And you notice again that the sky on Mars is orange, and the view of the stars during the daytime, that's an open space thing. You can't actually see the stars during the day from most locations on Mars. From the tops of the like Olympus Mons, yes, a little bit, because you're above so much of the atmosphere, but not over the majority of Mars. But you do have this kind of reddish sky because it has a different atmosphere. And so when you have light scattering in that atmosphere, you get kind of like, I guess, on Venus, it's a lot more carbon dioxide. So that scatters the reddy orangey colors. Um, and so that's why like our sky looks blue because the nitrogen in our atmosphere is scattering the blue. Well, the carbon dioxide is scattering more reds and oranges, but around sunset we get this lovely golden golden blue. That doesn't really make sense. This lovely blue color. um, and so the same reason that we have like kind of our orangey red sunsets on Earth, right? Because our blue light gets scattered out, and as you're looking through a thicker layer of horizon, then you're getting more of the other light that wasn't as scattered. You get the same effect on Mars. So the red light scatters out first, so then we're left with like these bluer sunrises and sunsets. So that's one really fun feature in open space. I think they do a really nice job of sunrise and sunsets. So I'm just going to plug this on for just a couple minutes. And oh yeah, I have to hit play. And there goes our sunset. So sunsets on Earth are also really cool in open space. Here's just a nice little sunset on Mars. And we might be far enough south. I think I'm still kind of located a little ways north. So we might not get that dark, dark sky, but still kind of nice to just look up and see if we can see. Do we see any moons up there yet? We see us. I do that. Not seeing our moons, but that's okay. They'll be there eventually. So I'm just going to leave you under the Martian sky and say thanks for tuning in. Sorry, it's a bit clumsy, but I guess I feel like I'm kind of like a free commercial for open space, but it's free. So it's not even like a commercial. It's just like, here's some of the fun things I like to tinker around with it. I'm Irene Pease, your friendly neighborhood astronomer. You can check out more of what I'm doing, which isn't much over the next few months, but that's my website. I'll still have some current skies up, so you can check those out. Those drop on Sunday nights on YouTube. If you like this open space stuff, you can download it for free at openspaceproject.com. And if you're interested in Stellarium, you can also find that at stellarium.org. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll be back maybe once a month, sometime in October. That's a goal. We'll just see what happens. Be safe out there, everyone.